Hey, how are you? The first episode of Secret Invasions finally dropped. I watched it. Here's some thoughts about it. It's gonna be quick, short, sweet, and simple. Before we get started, we have to say there are spoilers, so if you haven't watched the first episode of Secret Invasion, go watch it. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and leave a like on the video. Comment down below who do you think is actually a Skrull and who is not a Skrull. I'm excited to see. Let's talk about it. The opening sequence of this show was super interesting. It was really good. I like the narration of it, and that we get like a Skrull in disguise kind of trying to stop this character from spreading the word of what the Skrulls are going to be doing to Earth. The main draw for me personally to this show is that this is Nick Fury's show. This is his story. This is his kind of battle that he feels like he needs to fight. He's been involved with the Skrulls for 30 years. He even says this in the show, and it's been really interesting so far for this first episode. It's pretty clear to see within the first episode that Nick Fury has a very big name for himself, but he's been up on Saber, and people kind of have very different opinions on him now. They used to respect him, and he was this warrior that people were afraid of. They never wanted to cross, and they would love to work with him if they ever got the chance. But now they are saying that he's kind of written off Earth, especially after the blip, which is a whole other thing we'll talk about in a minute. But he's finally come back to Earth for this mission, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The show's also very much a who's who. You're trying to figure out, oh, is this person a Skrull? Is this person a Skrull? We don't know. We don't know what's going on because they can just shapeshift however they want. And the whole idea behind the Skrulls is that they want to be in their own skin all of the time. And we find out that they're immune to radiation, so that's interesting. All their bases are in Russia at these abandoned nuclear sites. That's pretty cool. So the people won't be able to go there unless they have like some type of hazmat suit, hazmat gear, whatever it may be. We also finally get Agent Hill to come back, and then we are met with absolute trauma, nightmare fuel. Pretty sad what happens to her, but honestly, I think it kind of solidifies the villain. My biggest problem with Marvel recently is that they've kind of been afraid to kill off characters, especially main characters. And Agent Hill, admittedly, probably not like a main character, but a pretty strong character for the MCU. And they kill her off at the end of this episode. That really solidifies Malik as the villain of this story and really drives Nick to take him out. On top of this being Nick Fury's story, which is great in my opinion, we also have this really interesting story with Talos and his daughter Gaia. We have Talos, which is this Skrull who is just a genuinely nice individual, a nice alien, I would say person, but not really a person. Talos is just a nice individual, nice being. And Gaia, his daughter, is actually working for Malik, who wants to take over the Earth. So there's this really weird dynamic where he could have stopped these bombings in the first episode. Could have stopped them dead in their tracks whenever he had Gaia down below the streets there. But he let her go because that's his daughter, who, as a parent, I would not want to stop my child or shoot my child, anything close to that, no matter what they're getting ready to do. It's my child. And you see that with Talos, and then she plays him. So I'm really curious to see how he responds to her straight up playing her father. Now I want to go back to something I said earlier in the video, talking about Nick Fury and the blip. Everybody keeps talking about how Nick has changed after the blip. It changed him. He has different outlook. He's written Earth off. He's want to stay in space, whatever it may be. But in my opinion, I think it's time for Marvel to move past the blip. We've had a lot of projects. It's been years since Thanos snapped half of existence away, and they're still using that as like a main character development driving point, driving the story for the Marvel universe. And we've seen Kang the Conqueror multiple times at this point. I think it's time we start focusing more on the threat of possibly Kang or whatever other threat they want to introduce. But I feel like they're sticking to the blip because that's what worked in the past. I just feel like they could move on from it. I like that story, but I think it had its time and place, and I think it's time to move on from that. I honestly could be totally off here too. I feel like everybody else could absolutely love that they're still sticking with the blip and making that a major point in the story because it was a major event, but they fixed it. So I feel like they can move on from it. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Really quick, short, simple, sweet. I love it so far. I'm excited to see what happens to the rest of the season. I love that this is Nick Fury's story. I love the dynamic between Talos and Gaia. I'm really curious to see who's actually a Skrull, who's actually not a Skrull. It's gonna be a cool show. Very, very mystery, mystery. I'm excited to see it. All right, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like this video. Also, subscribe for a lot more content like this, reviews, theories, whatever it may be. We'll talk about news, all of these random different things. I also live stream 3 days a week, so make sure you stop on by and interact with me live a little bit. We can talk about whatever you feel like. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.